Candidate interviews continue this morning, so hey, sit back. If you're listening in District 3, we are talking to Thomas Sun this morning.
And I will tell you this, from what I have discerned so far,
Yes.
we have a gentleman at the microphone.
Right on. We need
Mr.
more of those.
Sun is a gentleman, and from all indications, a very classy guy, sir. I have enjoyed the debates that panels, forums we've been at together. I think you've done a great job, and people deserve to know you. And win, lose, or draw, I think you should be in the public eye and doing some good stuff for Yakima. So let me just give you that little preamble right there. And with that, I turn all of the questions, everything over to Lance, because I'm taking a nap.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Hey, just to let you know that Thomas Sun is his sister is Mary Beth Wright. If you've been a longtime listener of KIT, Mary Beth Wright was a spokesperson for the
How
Yakima
many
School
sound
District.
bites would she have done over the years on your newscast?
Man, a lot. Believe me, for many years.
And a former reporter for KIMA News, Kylie's son. Just a delightful young lady, and now a teacher. What, granddaughter, did you say?
A niece.
Niece, okay. So now we put you in people's minds with people in the media. So, Lance Tormey, let's find out about this guy.
Yeah, definitely. Tell us about yourself, Thomas. Who are you? What's your family? Where you from? Give all the, all the scoop there.
Lance, I am a resident of Yakima for 43 years. I was raised on a cattle ranch in Quincy for many years, attending school there from K through 11. And then I moved to Longview, graduated from high school. Went on to Pacific Lutheran University, where I was taking classes for pre-med. And at that time, I followed a childhood dream of mine, and I went to the San Francisco College of Mortuary Science, where I graduated with a degree there.
Time out.
Wow.
Childhood dream to be in the mortuary business?
That's correct. When I was a paper boy at age 12, I delivered a paper to the funeral home every day. And the owner of that funeral home was an inspiration to me.
I'll be darned. That's not the typical teenage path, but
really.
It's an interesting story. And the paper you're delivering is probably half obituaries anyway. It isn't as though anybody gets out without going through that business. So, all right, interesting.
No, hold on. I just got one question. Was it the man that inspired you or his work?
It was both.
Both, okay.
It was both.
Continue.
After college, I then got married and did an apprenticeship program. Lived in Aberdeen and Spokane before moving to Yakima in 1976, 43 years ago. 4 years after I arrived in Yakima, I was widowed at the age of 33 and raised my two children basically alone until the daughter went to Whitman College and my son went into the Marine Corps, serving with the Yakima Bravo Company, the first Marine unit into Kuwait.
Right.
I am running for city council because of the years that I was in Yakima. Most were spent in the funeral industry, which at that time was family owned rather than many of them being corporate owned. And I wasn't able to give back to the community because I was working days and on call nights. I later went into law enforcement communications. I served a brief time as a dispatcher for the Yakima County Sheriff's Office, later with the Washington State Patrol as a dispatcher, and I retired from 911 Suncom 7 years ago. I had two very stressful careers, but two very rewarding careers. Because of the type of work, I wasn't able to be involved in the community. I was a former member of Southwest Rotary and the Yakima Exchange Club. However, I wasn't able to devote the time to that because of the hours that I worked. When I was widowed, I received so much support from the Yakima community through the YMCA, through church, through the park and recreation departments, different programs through the schools where my kids were involved in athletics. And it just seemed right after I retired and thinking about it to give back to the community, to thank them for helping me in this community and also helping my children. My son later died 3.5 years ago from a severe post-traumatic stress syndrome that he suffered when he came home from the Marines at age 21.
Wow.
He was never very capable of working due to the PSD and memory loss and whatnot.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Thomas.
Well, you've seen your share of stuff.
Yeah.
You've helped people through their share of stuff, and you've dispatched help to people in their share of stuff, haven't you? I mean, you really have.
I have.
Yes, indeed. Well, all right.
Very
So I'm
rewarding.
assuming, and I've heard you say this, that you feel that those exposures and experiences helps set your temperament and your perspective that would be beneficial to the council, right?
That's right. I'm running on a program of common sense with transparency and open communication. I feel that I'm personable, I'm responsible, I'm dedicated to what I do, and I feel that I need my type of representation in the city.
Well, we appreciate the background. I hope people are paying attention. You've got quite a variety of experiences. You know, one of the things that I think people want to know that their council has is some worldview and some experiences that prep them for the job, and that they're just not, naively focused on one area or something like that. So good for you. I think that, there are no quote specific requirements to run, but you seem to present a pretty good broad section there. How about some of the big issues that the council's working on now? And their approach. What do you think of when you see City Council as it operates today? You want to join. I assume you want to make changes. So there's got to be a critique of what's going on. How would you gauge what's happening at City Hall?
Well, presently and for the last few years, I have felt disconnected from the City Council, mainly because of the interaction within the City Council. I was very upset with the way the council handled the public censure of K-Funk, and that was probably the igniting issue of me running for city council. Even though it was illegal for them to do, I felt that it was somewhat unethical because she represents several constituents in her district that support her views, and being removed from the committees for 6 months that she was on did not leave much opportunity for support for her for the city council, even though she can still vote on city council issues.
What about rogue behavior? Whether you feel that her particular behavior rose to that level or not, do you feel that the council should have a vehicle by which they rein in their own, or what would you recommend?
Well, I think that the issue that she was trying to present was a very important issue, and she deserved the right to be able to share what she was thinking. She had studied the issues, she had investigated, and she had a fair approach to what she needed to share with the city.
That being said, what if it wasn't that issue? That's my point. Maybe you feel that it was unfairly assessed for that. But if you have a council member that's out of line regularly, saying things that are inappropriate, doing things that are disruptive to the cohesiveness, should council have a way to import discipline to the situation? Should they have a vehicle?
If it's a continuous behavior, then I feel that the council needs to address that, first of all, privately, of which they had done in this situation, and then maybe share more publicly before they made the decision that they did.
Well, we talked about it when I was on council. We never pulled the trigger. So it seems to me that there's got to be a lot more than maybe just what we see in order to get to that point. But okay, we'll move on to the next question. Big conversation the other night, the ice flights.
Yeah.
What have your vote been, and what do you see the city's role in cooperation or not with the feds, that sort of thing?
I support the ICE flights. First of all, it's a federal program. It's not a City of Yakima program. Our involvement is because of the use of our airport. They are paying the airport fees. It is a contract, and if we were to withdraw and deny the ICE flights, we would lose that income, and also through the FAA, we would lose funding that they have for repairs and various things that the federal government does for our airport.
Lots of money when you look at they just put in a request for $1 million for fire suppression capabilities. In the last 10 years, over $19 million in money that has come in with federal grants for the airport. So you're talking about putting a lot of money in jeopardy if you start tap dancing around that particular issue.
That's correct.
Every day he plays that bass lick to start the song, and I marvel at his craftsmanship. Lance Tormey, how he does, how he can play the bass with one hand, keep Jack in the corner with a chair and a whip with the other, and still find time to break out the news.
Jack in the chair.
Like a lion tamer.
Got
The
that.
chair and the whip.
Right.
All of that.
Right. It is 743 972 5481. That's our number. Love to hear from you when we are in our conversation. Talking right now with Yakima City Council District 3 candidate, Mr. Thomas Sund.
District 3, Tom, roughly the region is what? How would you describe that to folks who say, well, I don't know if I'm in District 3 or not?
Well, roughly it would be south of Tieton to Attanum and east of 40th Avenue to West 16th Avenue. There is an area that extends beyond 16th.
But sort of between 40th and 16th and from Tieton south all the way to Attanum.
That's correct.
Okay, that gives us a pretty good idea.
Been knocking on any doors, Thomas?
I've knocked on a lot of doors, and it's been heartwarming, and it's also been difficult, particularly in this hot weather.
Yeah.
Sure.
I try to go in the evenings because more people are home at that time. But yes, it's been a real learning experience. I'd like to share one that, win or lose this campaign, I was honored recently when I had been handing out my postcards to the people. I got a phone call 2 weeks later from a lady who said that she and her sisters, all in the ages in their 30s, had never voted before. They were Hispanic, but they were born in Washington State. And she had told me that she had gone down with her sisters to the courthouse to register to vote for the first time. She received her ballots in the mail, and even though it was just one selection for a vote, but with the envelopes of how you put them in and signing and whatnot, she asked if I'd come to the house and explain all that to her so that they could make their first vote.
Cool.
Whether they voted for me or not, I don't know. But that was a win-win situation for me and for the city of Yakima.
You didn't give him your marker and say, fill that.
I'll just take these for you and drop them in the mail, don't worry.
No, actually, I didn't see that part at all.
How special. I mean, that really is. You
yeah.
got to consult on the very thing that in so many ways separates us from much of the rest of the world, and to empower somebody who's never been involved before to at least have their voice on the record. That's very cool stuff.
And in reference to doorbelling, I would hope to reach every house in my district, but there are a tremendous number of voters in my district, and it's very difficult to do. But I go door to door, unknown whether or not they are registered voters, which I could have access to. But I go door to door because I feel this is a community, gives an opportunity for people to think about voting if they're not registered to vote. And it shows the community being together to me.
Right, and you represent them whether they vote or not.
That's
if they're in your
correct.
district,
Yeah.
they're part of the 17,000 roughly number of folks that look to you for their voice. So why not, huh?
Right.
Thomas, how would you describe yourself politically?
I'm a conservative. Uh, I I just feel that I use common sense. If it's right or wrong, when my mind and my heart are in harmony, that's the way that I'm going to vote.
What do you like? Do you see things that the current council's doing, or directions that the city's been headed in that you would like and would want to support more of? Is there anything out there that shines bright for you? And maybe there isn't. I don't know. I mean,
Well, they've got to be doing some good things for the success of this city. But I look differently to some of their decisions, and that's why I have felt disconnected. I feel that we need to work more on the budget. I'm conservative with that. Our reserves are down. They need to be replenished so that we can get better rates on our bonds and better rates on our loans. And yet we need to serve the community in many ways. I am a very strong supporter of public safety issues, primarily the fire department, the police department, and Suncom 911. And there's been a lot of disharmony there, particularly with the city manager, but even the council. And now that Cliff Moore, the city manager, has decided to leave, there's going to be a lot of important decisions made, whether we go to a strong mayor system or whether we hire an interim person to fill his role. We're without a assistant city manager. We'll be without a city manager. So there are some real challenges ahead for the council to do.
do you have any thoughts on? We know that Bruce Smith, who led the charge last time for a change in form of government when a city manager left the first time around, and 350 votes would have changed the outcome, difference of 700, I think, between yay and nay. Do you have a sense, is that something you would support as a strong mayor form of government, or do you like the makeup of things now with the council manager?
I would support the strong mayor form of government. I think the symbolism of the mayor, when it's a strong mayor and the council supporting that mayor, I think we might have more harmony within the council.
Yeah, the districted system by its nature sort of promotes competition. It's like if your district has it, why doesn't my district have it? That sort of thing kind of comes up under a all-district system. One of the things we're pushing forward on, and that's this east side pool. Thoughts on that? I mean, the budget, or basically understand the budget. Our focus on the east side pool, does that make sense to you under the current budgetary situation?
It does make sense to me because we need more community involvement, allowing the youth to be together, which may help in combating the gangs that we have. We are lacking in Yakima for family activities and for youth programs. The police department, now working in conjunction with the Yakima School District for the gangs, I think has been a strong step forward. There needs to be more of that. And also on a sideline to the fact that it would be on the east side. Yakima has gained tremendous tourist revenue with the wine and the beer industry that is here in Yakima. However, the downtown area of Yakima, as strong as it is and as beautiful as it is in so many ways, really is not family oriented. If you're a non-drinker, you're going down to some fine restaurants, but it's geared towards the tourism. We need to focus more on youth programs. like the YPEL program, but we also need to get people involved. These young people, they need mentors. We need to get involved more with them. I recently served as a foster parent to a 15-year-old boy for 9 months, and I can see the troubles and how they start and what happens from that. So we need more of that.
KIT News Time is 7:53. If you're just tuning in, we are talking with Yakima City Council District 3 candidate Thomas Sun. Is it Thomas or Tom? Which one do you go by, Thomas?
Well, it's legally Thomas. To my mother, it was Tommy, but I go by Tom.
Tom. Okay. Can we call you Tom?
You can.
All right, Tom. What are you hearing in your district? What are the people when you're knocking on doors? What are they asking you? What do they want to hear? What do they want to see in the Yakima City Council?
Really, I'm getting some strong feedback on that, which I like, and the transparency. They want to see more and have more knowledge of what's going on. A lot of people don't even realize how the representation is through the districts to making up the council. There's a lack of a lot of communication. And I think we need that open communication that the people in my district are telling me about. They're also asking for increased police
Presence,
presence, right, within the area, as they are all over the city. They're asking for that. The fire department, they certainly don't want to cut any funding there. The fire rates can also affect the tax rates, and so they want a strong fire department. It seems that on some of the items, the people are saying, "Listen to us. We want you, as council members, to pay attention to some of the things we're asking for." Roads is a big issue. The infrastructure of the city, people don't understand that the multi-million-dollar project in North First Street is not only for beautification, it's because of the sewer system and the water systems that need replacing due to age, but they're only looking at the beautification part of it, and I find a lot of opposition to that because they're only seeing the beautification part. But we need to maintain our sewer systems and our water systems and our parks, adequate police presence, the fire department, the 911 SUNCOM, emergency communications. We need to maintain those. That's what the citizens are paying for, and that's what they want to see. And if that's what they want to see, we need to work to get that for them. I also hear a lot about the lighting. However, in my area, the lights have been replaced with the LEDs. They're much brighter. They're much better, much safer. And they want to see their streets maintained within their neighborhoods. Some of those streets have not been touched since they were done. Personally, I think that north-south 32nd Avenue is a busy road, and there are so many chuck holes in that road that somewhere the potholes are deeper than the speed bumps are.
Wow.
And I look at Nob Hill Elementary School, and the back portion of that faces 32nd Avenue, but there are no sidewalks there. And there are young children walking to and from home, and they need sidewalks there. There are other areas in the city that need sidewalks as well. So it's a compound of many issues. The police, the fire, the communications, the streets, the lighting, the sidewalks, replacing the infrastructure of the old sewers and water systems. There's a lot of ways out there that we can spend money, but we also have to look at the budget and figure out revenue by bringing in industry, bringing in small business, supporting small business in our community, Uh, that's an important factor to do that in obtaining the revenue, and of course getting the bond issues taken care of for the ratings and also for the loans with their interest rates.
The idea of revenue at the last council meeting, there was talk by Councilwoman Funk about having a study session on lifting the 1% property tax lid. But the way the laws work now, you can councilmanically sign off and bump property tax by 1% per year. But if they want to do more than that, it would take a vote of the people and be for a limited period of time. Are you? Some people, when they go into office, they say no new taxes ever, never vote for me. Others say I will approach each circumstance based on conditions surrounding it, and will do what's necessary. Do you have a particular philosophical stand on raising taxes, that it's no way, Jose, or would you consider that under the right circumstance?
We do have to have tax support. That's a great part of our revenue. And I'm finding, though, that a lot of senior citizens are having problems maintaining their homes, and that is an effect to them. But has to be a way where each person can be taxed individually in a form. And what I mean by that is it's fair to all. And if that's the type of tax that we have to have that she's promoting, I could support that. People want to see things done.
Right.
They want to see being different. And I think they're willing to pay for that, whether it be a city tax increase or whatever.
As long as they get the product when you're done, right?
That's right.
Got about a minute to go, a little less. Tell the folks out there why you think they should check the box next to your name, Tom.
Well, I feel that even though I don't have experience in government, that I certainly have experience in life. And at age 73, I've seen a lot, done a lot, and I am a willing listener. I like to represent people. I am personable, and I think that I could do a good job as a city council person for the city of Yakima.
Tom Sun, very nice to spend some time with you this morning, sir. Appreciate it very much, and we wish you the best of luck. If you manage to win in the primary, we look forward to a conversation a little later on in the fall as we head toward the general election.
Thank you, David Land.